Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Welcome to our discussion of Season 3, Episode 8 of Silo. Let's do our round of introductions and dive in.
Hi, I'm Aubrey.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hi, I'm Marigold.
And I'm Kate. I love how this genuinely looks like a space show if you just started watching this episode. It's fully dark. They have spacesuits on. The dead ground looks enough like the moon surface to convince me. Anyway, the episode opens with Kennedy on the ground waking up. Yay. He jogs down to Kyle before realizing Kyle was actually shot, which he remarkably realizes before the man that was actually shot did. And now Kennedy's got to play the role of nice guy saving his friend. I love it. He gets him to the Silo 17 door and starts beating on it until he finally sees the kids through the slot. Kyle and Kennedy convince the teens to open the door, and then we get to see Solo again. Hooray. So excited about this.
You kind of already covered this, but there's some very visually cool things happening with this whole opening because there's the desolate landscape that looks like the moon, like you said. And then walking across the bodies is just so gothic horror movie, very creepy. So yeah, a lot of the sort of dark elements of this show, thematically dark, kind of all come together at once here. And yeah. And I was very glad that they started right off with us getting to see their perspective of what happened.
Yes, I know. Yes. I didn't really expect to be paid off that well, and right from the get-go of this episode, so it was really exciting.
Right.
Yeah. I liked that they went out at night because we got to see Juliet going out during the day and then like at night, especially with Lucas being so interested in the stars, like the last episode, like his reaction was cool. So I liked the night setting of it.
Right. I didn't even think about that when they were sending them out early and was very excited once he stepped outside and looked up. I was like, oh yeah, that's the reason he should go out at night.
Yeah.
Maybe Juliet just did that for him.
Yeah, right? Only she doesn't seem to remember that they had any sort of vibe going on. So true. But it would be very cool if she did.
I'm sad about that, to be honest. I know that Aubrey has her ship, but I was like, Lucas and Juliet.
Yeah.
No, I like them too.
Yeah, so
I'm bummed
maybe we'll get more.
Yeah, hopefully. I feel like Kat and Kennedy had more of a romantic thing going on last episode.
It's true.
And Juliet.
It's true.
Out of the blue, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Lucas didn't feel the gunshot. I guess just shock and also the radio blocking it, but like he was shot.
Yeah.
It's kind of badass.
That hurts.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they tried to kill him or if they just wanted to destroy the radio, because it's like it's a bit weird to me that it's just been Lucas who was shot and not Kennedy. Like if they wanted to kill them both, like or keep them from like going to Silo 17, why not make sure that they're both dead, you know?
I had the same thought. Yeah.
I definitely think they wanted to kill them because they're just that kind of association. But it's insane that they would have done such a shoddy job of it, not even hitting Kennedy and then leaving, you know?
But specifically, I'm suspicious of the same thing you're saying, Yulia, that they just shot out their only communication method. And then that was the one shot.
Yeah.
But you hear like a bunch of gunfire, so that is kind of weird. But it's like, if the gunfire is coming from a computer system, why is their aim so bad? You know?
Yeah. No, I think the aim is crazy bad, but they do say later, like, the bodies disappeared, you know? They do think that they're dead. The algorithm, in my opinion, thinks that they're dead and then is surprised when their bodies have been moved.
Yeah, that's so weird. Also seems a little bit crazy that they didn't give Kennedy and Kyle some other way to get through the door into Silo 17. Like, they just had to bang on it and hope that Solo and the kids would come. But I guess, is the vault close to the exit where they're staying?
On the higher levels, at least.
I didn't
especially
think
because that
so.
place, I mean, I don't think it's close to the door necessarily, but it's at least on the higher levels because that silo's flooded like a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
I would just be worried that it'd be so soundproof that you wouldn't be able to hear it. You know, like if you're just banging on it and could they really hear it? I don't know.
How did she get in?
She used a crowbar.
So then he should have taken a crowbar,
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
At a minimum, they should have had the crowbar.
I mean, they are in the IT level of the silo, right? Like they live there, kind of.
I think that is right, because they're living in the vault with all the stuff, right? Like they've collected all of the relics and they're just living in like this cool...
I like their house.
Cool. Steampunk looking. Yeah.
Yes. The kids also scout like a lot because they knew when Juliet got in there they were watching her. I remember we didn't know that right away, but yeah, no, not having a crowbar is insane.
Yeah.
Once they get inside, Jimmy's helping Kyle. Hope asks Kennedy if Juliet's okay, giving him the opening to talk shit about his friends the way he likes to do, saying she's doing amazing, all safe and sound at home. More solid footing for him when he can act like that. And then after they've got Kyle bandaged up, Solo moves on to the radio, using a book for reference, and his confidence in his impending success, simply due to having the book, which will tell him what to do, is adorable, per his usual.
Yeah, when they're doing the medical work on Lucas, too, and they're looking at the gunshot, he's holding a book, too.
Yeah, Rick's got that book.
Yeah, and he's just holding it for Jimmy, holding it open for Jimmy.
Yeah, but like I can't put together an IKEA furniture set with an instruction manual, but I love that Jimmy's like, I can do anything if the book tells me how to do it. You know?
Yeah, I've got the knowledge, so there's nothing stopping me.
Yeah, he's so competent. I love him.
Maybe because he's been so isolated that he's just had so much time to like read the books that he like has the knowledge but just has to go back and reference it.
And his parents, like his mom, I guess, was an engineer, right? So
yeah.
He probably has a lot of that intelligence in his DNA too.
I think that was kind of part of season 2 as well, right? The way that he was, like, he'd read everything, right?
Yeah, he seemed pretty knowledgeable, like when he was telling Juliet about things.
Yeah, he also came up with that idea to use the organ, you know?
For the air.
Yeah, for the air, to pump air to her.
That was really smart, and I forgot about that, so good call. Yes, he is very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy wanders around, and even just looking at the walls, there's an overwhelming amount of new exciting content to take in. I wish Kat were here, too. I am now associating them in my mind after she was so broken up about him going out last episode.
I think this is your ship of the season.
I know. Oh, really out of left field. I was not expecting that.
She's married, though.
That's
and Kennedy
right.
has Doris that he's pining after forever.
Yeah, it's not a real ship. I'm aware of that. I
know. I'm
have
joking.
a foot based in reality, but it is
yeah.
It's a good crack ship, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did have the thought, though, when they're looking at the stuff on the wall, like you were just saying, Kate, like even just seeing a bear, because there's that bear, the picture of the bear. I was like, would that not just completely unhinge your brain to look at that? Like, you've never seen anything like that before.
Right.
I mean, I guess you might think it's kind of like a dog, but a little different. You know, any animal could be maybe like a dog.
Yeah, well, it's confusing though, because like I think the butterfly is like the size of the bear, and so you don't. You don't know the real scale of these things either. So either way, it's incredible. Like every single one of these pictures all by itself, because you remember what that page torn from the book did for them,
right?
Really cool.
This is a side question. Did Silo 17? They knew about the before times, right? Because they didn't have a full reset like 18 did.
I thought everybody was supposed to not know, so they just wiped people's memories from the get-go when they started silos, but I don't know. But I figured the removal of relics means they don't want them to remember anything from the beginning. And so they probably did a factory reset.
From day one.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I assume as they entered the silo, they probably had to wipe them, right? Or at some point, they had to have, because Silo 17 had a rebellion, which caused everybody to go out and then die.
Yeah, but they didn't have to do the forgetting drug, though.
But what would cause the rebellion if they knew their history?
And didn't mind it,
That's
you mean?
true. But I guess they just still don't know if it's safe outside. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I was just curious.
No, that's a really interesting question, because it's not something that I feel like we have a clear answer on. Maybe there's something we're forgetting, but...
Well, it goes a little bit into the scenes from the past for me, and wondering if it even ever, like, if the world ever ended out there, or if they're actually just the set of people that volunteered or were forced into the silos initially, wipe their memories, know that they don't really have to pay them $200,000 a year forever, because now they don't remember anything, and these people are just like guinea pigs for, who knows, it could have only been 100 years. You just don't know.
Yeah, so we're back at the experiment stage of the silo project.
Could be. With the memory wiping.
The only thing that counters that to me is the fact that I'm pretty sure, and correct me if this is wrong, we saw Atlanta skyline kind of decimated.
Like desolate? Yeah, you're right, probably.
That could be fake, though. That could be some kind of, who knows what they're capable of, like a Truman Show situation where they're seeing a dome.
Right. Or just Atlanta even.
Could just be Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's
could be
bad, which we have talked about, because like we have no way to really know the big picture.
Yeah. There's no way to know. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway. Meanwhile, Solo holds up a working radio now and tells Rick to, and I quote, "Go get the other guy."
That was so funny.
I just really love Steve Zahn. He adds so much to any show I watch with him.
Yeah.
So glad he's back. Solo will not run the communications, though, which is unfortunate for poor, uncomfortable Kennedy, though Kennedy can hardly argue that he's stumbled upon someone even less prepared to communicate with other humans than him. So Kennedy manages to remember his code name after some stumbling. Very proud of him. And Martha just tells him to shut up. I laughed. Again, I like the little moment Kennedy and Solo have after she snaps at him, but she snapped for good reason. As we know from the last episode, there's a very urgent situation going on in 18 that needs to be resolved in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, the way he was like, oh, fuck, I forgot my name. Like right after Solo said, go get the other guy. Something about those two things stacking to me was like, no one knows his name.
That is hilarious. I guess Solo probably knew he meant code name, but that
yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, the shut up, like he's kind of looking at Solo like, I can't believe she said that to me.
Can you believe she said that to me?
Yeah. Like they're already bonding in the
right.
30 seconds they've known each other.
Yeah. This is what we were looking forward to. Kennedy and Solo. Then Juliet eagerly jumps on the radio, her emotions all over her face. She praises Kennedy kindly and then asks for Deputy James, who's quite nervous about speaking on the radio, but he takes it for Juliet. Juliet's holding back tears, talking to him again and asking about the kids. She did all of that before asking about Kyle, actually. She does ask about Kyle, though, and Kennedy gets on to tell her in code that Kyle had a fall, but he's not dead. So Juliet gets right to business. Jimmy, you gotta find out what happened to your mom. What she did to cap the poison and where she did it exactly.
I think Kennedy should have given more of an explanation to Solo when he made him get on the radio, where he's like, you got to talk in code, just do it. And I'm like, what does that even really mean? Like, give a little more context.
Right.
I love that he's going by Jimmy now and not Solo. I feel like he cut his hair.
I know. He looks different.
Living with the kids. Yeah.
I mean, he's not Solo anymore, so.
Yeah. I know.
It's okay that you dropped that name.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a minute, but yeah, he is definitely Jimmy now.
He seems much healthier in every way right now.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. I also just don't understand Juliet coming on the radio in a way. Like, I understand that she wants to talk to them, but I feel like her voice would be so recognizable on the radio.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. But it is nice for the kids and Jimmy to hear her, of course. But yeah, of course, whoever's listening, none of this is coded nearly enough for if Silo 1 is listening in on everything, you know?
Right.
Especially because they know that Kennedy and Kyle now are likely in the
silo.
silo. I was even thinking, I mean, this whole mission is really shitty to the kids and Jimmy because just finding out that they're living there, like now the people in charge know that they're living there. If they didn't before, and that puts them in a lot of danger.
Hadn't thought of that, yeah.
Kind of selfish of Juliet to use them for that.
But I guess the other option is they die when it floods.
Back in Atlanta, Daniel and Helen get to see the silo production up close and personal. At dinner, Stinson explains the digger they saw as a single prototype digger, and there are 9 more in production. Each one will be responsible for building 5 silos. Daniel tells Stinson that's dumb, and there needs to be 1 digger for every silo that just gets left at the bottom of the silo once it's finished. The cost for dragging it back up to the surface would likely outweigh the cost of the digger itself, in his theory. Helen questions the seeds they're trying to bank, and Senator Thurman states the obvious, seeds as in people. And now it's time for Stinson to assure them the end of the world is nigh and cannot be changed, only survived. Helen looks dubious.
Helen says you don't need a no-fly zone for seed depositories. So I guess they've already made this part of Atlanta a no-fly zone?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like because it's also a secret project, so they don't want it to be leaked, as they say. Like they wanted to address it and present it at some point in a few years, they mentioned.
Can Senator Thurman, like, all on her lonesome do that? Or I would think it would involve a lot more politicians, which may be involved to set.
Is she the senator of Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe she can. I don't know. It's like if it's privately owned area or something, and maybe they can do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or they just cover it up. It's like, oh, we want to build an airport there or something.
Right, because they've been making up stuff, right? Like they made up the reason for the mission, kind of. So I feel like they could probably, you're right, they could probably come up with some other reason why it needed to be that way. And
for sure,
they've got a secret project.
To do it in Iran, then yes, they can certainly do it here.
Yeah.
Back in Silo 18, the algorithm is playing therapist again. How do you feel, Camille?
The first thing it says is, how do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. Over the top therapist at this point. But when she answers honestly that she's tired, it's like, just kidding, don't care. Find out why Kennedy and Kyle went to 17 because their bodies are now missing.
I'm just kidding, don't care.
I mean, it was limited sympathy he was able to offer. It was able to offer.
Yeah.
This makes me think it's a person, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of actually being fed up versus a computer. So
yeah, I've been on person for a while, but
in this scene, and I've noticed it in the past few scenes with Camille and the algorithm, like the way that they have it shot, there's like this reflection in her eyes, kind of like the screen, the algorithm screen, and it just looks really cool, like the cinematography of it. And I'm sure it's like trying to tell us that she's being influenced by this algorithm.
Yeah. I have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, I just noticed it in this episode.
Knox's dad really is a piece of shit. He could not be more disappointed to see his son. He tries to slam the door on him when Knox gets to the point of his visit, but Knox has found an ulterior motive for his trip. He's always wanted to punch his dad, and it's well past time that happened. I love Knox.
Knox and his dad have some, not similar, but they have tattoos on the side of their neck. They both do. His dad, who I think his name is Gus, I think it says that in the subtitles, has like straight lines going up, and then Knox has the kind of smoky thing. I just thought that was interesting that they had it in the same place.
Doesn't he also have like his arms tattooed with similar lines as Juliet has?
The dad, you mean, or Knox?
Yeah, the dad.
The dad. Yeah, he had a few different ones. You're right. Yeah. I think I noticed the neck ones more just because they had a shot where you could see it on both him and Knox. So I was just looking at both their necks and like comparing them. But yeah, I think you're right. I think he has those like kind of almost like a long elongated barcode or something on his arm.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the ones Juliet has. And they talked about when she was talking to her fans, like, and they got the same tattoos. And she asked, do you even know what they mean? And yeah, I do wonder what they mean, like, because not everyone has those, right? Is it because of they're like the head of something and the shadow, or what do you think?
I think it was kind of implied that the people who lived at the bottom and did mechanical work were more artistic, or they were the ones getting tattoos more. So a lot of people that worked in mechanical seem to have tattoos.
They have a tattoo artist down there.
Yeah.
Therefore.
No doctor, but we had a tattoo artist.
Yes. Do you guys feel like Knox was hoping for a happier reunion or not disappointed?
I think it's probably hard for anybody seeing a family member to not have just a little bit of like, maybe it'll be better this time, you know?
That's a good way to say it. Yeah.
But he's probably not deluded into thinking that it's going to go perfectly well. Like he's not going to suddenly have a great relationship with him or anything, but he's probably hoping for like at least oh, hey, nice to see you or something like from his own dad, I don't know.
Yeah. In Silo 17, they've begun their investigation into what Silo's mom did, and Kennedy's found the first clue. Oxidized paint indicating it was welded from the inside. Oof. Camille is visiting her hubby in jail and being extra cruel about it. Tells him Anthony likes when Camille comes home and Robert doesn't. I don't even get that since it doesn't seem like Camille's been allowed many evenings off of late, but whatever.
I think she was just comparing that to when Robert was working as the shadow for Bernard and he was out all the time and she was home with Anthony.
Yeah.
And now she's been home with him because Robert's been locked up, right? Like for a night or two.
Right.
So I just assumed she was comparing like back when you were out working.
Yeah.
He was happier. And now that you're the one staying home with him, he hates you and doesn't want to be around you or whatever. I don't know. Or just isn't having a great life with you. You're doing a terrible, shitty job at everything, Robert Sims.
Yeah. Yes. Your son steals credits now and,
Yeah. Camille's been watering Anthony up and watching for the results. And this made me wonder if she's giving Robert water since she's trying to get information out of him. It seems like it would be a bad time to give him the water, lest she lose an avenue to the information she wants, which is to understand why Juliet is willing to send her closest friends to Silo 17. It's a good question, but Robert is just like, fuck you, you failed, keep on failing, and doubles down on the children's story while making Camille sound like a monster for not believing it. Do you guys think she'd be giving him the water right now?
No.
Maybe, but he wouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
I guess if that was the only thing he could drink and it was either that or thirst to death,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's come to that yet, though.
She thinks he knows, which he doesn't, by the way, right? The reason that they actually went to the silo?
See, I can't. Oh man, I wish I could remember that because the only thing I know that he didn't know was I remember when Sandy went to get the passes. He didn't. She didn't know why, so she didn't tell him why they were getting the passes.
Right.
But I don't know if he knows. He must know about the cap, right? Because Bernard talked to him about it.
And it would have been before they went up the stairs. When him and Juliet were going up the stairs together, and she said, "I remember everything," and runs back down. I think that's when she tells everybody about the poison pipe, right? And Bernard's up with Camille.
Okay, that's true, but
he might know about the pipe's existence, but he doesn't know. I think he hasn't been with the group recently enough to know why they went over there.
Why they went to 17. Yeah, you're probably right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's not going to tell her, but it would make me not want to give him the water if I was Camille. In the hopes I could get it out of him. But the way that they're like the way she's treating him, it's unlikely to get her there anyway.
He's pretty defensive of Juliet in this scene too, right? This is where he's like, well, she wants to save these kids and that's who she is. And
if you don't understand that, you're more of a monster than I thought you were. Yeah.
Yeah, so that part does also make me feel like he doesn't really know the real reason. I mean, he could be lying about that too, and he still knows Juliet and knows that she would care. But that does sound like he thinks that that's her real motivation.
Yeah.
So he might be a little let down to find out that's not true, but also she's trying to save the whole silo, so can't be too upset about it.
Yeah. I think he knows that she has an ulterior goal.
Yeah.
In addition to the kids.
I feel like he does too.
Also, the line that you said, Kate, why was Juliet even willing to send her closest friends to 17 that Camille said to Robert? And I'm like, okay, why were you willing to drug your own family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious answer here.
Yeah.
Trying to save the silo.
Very hypocritical question.
Yeah.
Please just get a divorce already.
I know.
Yeah, there's no coming back for them.
Power play.
It'll be better for Anthony.
Yeah, it's like this power play, this back and forth. It's like really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming she is giving him the water. I wonder if she would want to pretend like their marriage is great again after he forgets these past days.
She doesn't even seem to like him anymore, though.
No, she doesn't.
I don't know.
No.
No, you're right. They seem to hate each other.
I mean, to use your child against your spouse, like saying that he's happier with you gone, it's like, that's shitty.
It's bad.
And even the way, this is on a much smaller scale, I guess, but even the way they were talking about the jacket thing in the last episode and doing that right in front of him, like saying, undermining each other in front of their kid. And it's like, y'all should have a side conversation about that so your kid doesn't feel this tension in every conversation.
And they're surprised he's acting out.
Yeah, and it's like they're competing to be his favorite parent or something instead of actually just being good parents.
Yeah. Back in Silo 17, the kids are doing the labor while Kennedy supervises. That's nice of them. They break through the wall and unfortunately confirm Kennedy was right. It was welded from the inside, and as such, Solo's mom's body is inside the cavity. Fucking Kennedy, man. Give Solo a minute to process all of this. But he doesn't, instead telling him immediately that they need to move her. She's blocking the pipe. So Jimmy pieces out after that statement, and the kids refuse to move her without his permission. Kennedy, on the other hand, has grown very protective of his own silo suddenly. Aww.
Then he's going to make up for that moment with Solo later, with Jimmy later.
Yeah, it's fine. He's just not good with people.
Yeah.
I did love that the kids were very understanding of Jimmy needing time to process it because I'm like, these are orphans too, so they know what it's like to grieve your parents.
Right.
That was sweet.
I loved that they were like, no, we're not moving her.
Yeah.
Until he's comfortable.
They've really rallied with Jimmy. Mm-hmm. He's part of their family, really. Yeah.
Right. I liked when Juliet used that word earlier too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting because like in season 2, they were like basically still enemies, right? I mean,
she gave him a good talking to before she left.
He was responsible for the parents' death, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, because he locked himself in. That's right.
Like in front of the door. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
I forgot that. Also, the kids were all at odds, and they seem to... I mean, we haven't seen that much interaction, but it feels more harmonious than it did last season.
Yeah. I also really like how they keep showing different characters having very specific skills that help them out. Like Kennedy knowing about the welding and the heat and the paint.
Yeah.
All of their niche experiences and skills are being utilized.
Yeah.
Different ways.
They have all, different specialty they are very good at.
Mm-hmm.
To come back to what you summarized, Kate, I think it makes total sense that Kennedy now really wants to save the silo, because he's also like super disappointed that there is no good life out there, that because he believed in that until he stepped outside and saw it with his own eyes, that it's really just doom.
I like to think he would have anyway, though, even if it had been green out. I think he's always just like in denial or trying to come off cynical about not caring about the other people in his silo, and I think he probably really deeply does, so I like watching him have to say that out loud. Knox has brought the police back to his dad's place. That's gotta be like the greatest offense possible in this man's book. As we've mentioned before, Billings has been sounding very uncalm this season, and that continues here. He shares the top secret of the light bulbs with both Knox and his dad, although he doesn't reveal the 2-year clock that they have ticking. That, combined with his compelling profile of Orla Kent as a competent, caring girl who got murdered while simply trying to save the silo, well, it surprisingly works. Billings promises Knox's dad immunity, and Gus, Knox's dad, agrees to draw whatever it was he drew for Harwood that granted him his fake death and freedom.
It's kind of ironic that Gus, not Knox's dad, I guess his name is Gus Knox, actually. Interesting. Just realized that, because Knox is not Knox's first name.
Right.
That he is swayed by this story about caring emotionally for another person when he's so detached from his own son and his family.
I wonder why. I was very surprised that got through to him enough.
I just thought that he didn't want to be blamed for her murder, honestly.
True.
See, that makes more sense. That's what I expected, like a threat to work with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, you can keep living here, but if you don't help me. So it is probably more motivation than his sob story. The very next scene is a different drawing. Bernard drawing the silos for Juliet. There are 7 groups of silos surrounding Silo 1. 1 poison pipe to each group, 1 into each silo from there. Bernard insists that they at least consider the possibility that they built these pipes for a good reason, but he still wants to cap them in order to earn a conversation with the people in charge. Maybe if their reasoning is convincing, they can restore the pipes and drink the waters of oblivion. I liked his term, waters of oblivion.
His reasoning in this whole scene was very good.
Sound?
Yeah. I liked hearing him talk that through and like lead us through that. And then when he says, if we can cap the pipes and eliminate their ability to kill us, then we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's like such a logical path towards getting an actual answer to something.
Right. It sounds insane just to have a conversation, but yes, it is. In this case, the correct steps logically stated.
Because as long as they have that power over them, they can never trust anything that's being said. So
yeah.
And I like the ending too, where Juliet says, I hate this. And he says, what? And she says, not hating you.
Yeah. I just say it's a start for redemption, not like, but he's like on the right path. And it's, I really like that he's trying to make up for. I do believe that he's truly sorry that he just followed the orders, because I do see that he's affected by it. He's not illusioned about his role into or whatever he did to anybody there, may it be Knox and Shirley, may it Judge Meadows. So, and he wants to do better. Like he wants to genuinely do the right thing.
Yeah, I'm trusting him now. I believe him. When he speaks, it sounds genuine. Yeah.
LOL at this next scene with Camille. Nobody will tell her anything. It's so funny. Not even the algorithm, who has nobody else to help from the inside of the silo, will tell her anything that everybody else is walking around knowing. It's so fun to watch.
Okay, but there's a way to read this as her trying to manipulate the algorithm, because she's saying, I need to know how they could stop the safeguard. Right.
So and you're still hoping she's wanting to know that to stop the safeguard?
It's not even really that I'm like hoping it, because I do think that there's like pretty clear evidence that she's gone full evil. But I also just keep thinking about when the algorithm said that she was put in this position because she's good at lying.
Yeah.
So it just makes me question her a lot.
Yeah.
Even when we seem to have the full picture of what she's doing, or she's saying something that you can't find an easy argument for or whatever. But it's like she could be, using what the algorithm told her she was good at to manipulate it or him.
Yeah. I don't really think she's full evil. I think she's just like lost the plot and doesn't know what to do. And she's just decided to side with the algorithm and do its bidding. I don't like her, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of with that for sure, because I don't think that she's been, like earlier on, I wondered if the whole thing was going to be a flip and we were going to realize that she'd been up to other stuff this whole time. I don't think that's true anymore, but I think that she is capable of sort of going like, actually, I'm seeing some cracks in this and I'm not trusting what I'm being told anymore. And so I'm going to try to play back so that I can figure out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Because I could sort of see her like at this point thinking, okay, if they really can kill us at any time, if I'm just doing the algorithm's bidding for like eternity, you know, that's still no guarantee that Silo One or the algorithm or whoever's behind this won't just be like, oops, and push the button, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see her just being like, I need to know this so that I can protect the silo or know how to protect the silo.
Basically to get information from the algorithm on how to cap it, to use it against the algorithm is what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I think that if she knew how to do it, she might cap it. Because why not? If that stops the algorithm from being able to kill them, then...
That is one thing that is so weird to me, is the fact that she's still working against the group who tries to just do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like getting them arrested.
I'm just wondering if she even knew there was a way to stop it. Now she knows that Juliet figured out a way. Before, I feel like it was a little more, there's nothing I can do anyway, you know?
Yeah, but she's like clearly talking about, I mean, in the first scene with the algorithm, there's this weird conversation about, yeah, we have to figure out what they're really after. And I was like, wait, didn't you already figure that out in the episode before? Like prior to that, that they are looking for a way to stop the safeguard. Why not have like a normal secret conversation with her, say like, hey, Juliet, you have a way now. Okay, so we can do this together. Like I can persuade the algorithm a little bit, at least, because I'm good at lying. That's why I'm head of IT. And
right.
She's doing the opposite, and it's a little bit weird. Like I don't know, maybe she's just so afraid that if she doesn't play along, that because it didn't happen, they still not close the pipe, right? So
exactly.
There's still this possibility that the likeliness that the Silo One or the algorithm, whatever, whoever knows what's going on and listens in and sees what she's doing. So if she's like obviously conspiring against the algorithm with the people, it would be weird and suspicious as well. I get that. So I'm really interested like how it then turns out, if she's like changing her allegiance to Juliet's side in the end, or if she doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like she's just starting to become a lot more curious about it in a way of like storing the information away and potentially could use that as a plot later. I don't know that she's at the point of being like, I'm rebelling, but I'm just trying to get this information out of the algorithm now. I totally get what you're saying, like, why not just go to Juliet? But like, I think, yeah, two things. What you said about they can be overheard, or like even when she was with Juliet and her little red light went off, like it knows when they're speaking, right? So I think that any kind of conversation that she has outside of that room with the algorithm, she has to assume that it can either hear it or find out what's happening, you know, except maybe in the room with Robert. That was where they went to have their argument because she thought like the isolation room wasn't being monitored.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Juliet also would probably never tell Camille what she's really doing, even if Camille went to her and said, never mind, I'm on your side now. Because there's no trust between them.
Yeah, not at this point.
But yeah, it's intriguing because it could just be that, yeah, she's still just trying to stop them. But this particular scene made me wonder if she was...
I could see her being something of a savior in the end, although that would be following Bernard.
Yeah.
Back to the Stinson dinner, which, by the way, is absolutely surrounded with overflowing greenery and beautiful living plants.
It's like this $1 million dinner that they're just having while they're talking about the world ending, you know?
Yeah.
It's like they really highlighted all the excess of it. Yes. Like you see these platters of every type of fruit and cheese and, you know, it's just like very over the top.
Yeah. Stinson's making out as if he's now telling everyone how the world's about to end. But doesn't he really just say it could be a lot of things? There's no concrete thing happening, right?
Yeah, he lists like a bunch of different threats that...
Pandemics, nuclear wars, viruses.
Climate change, a guy in his basement. Like he just lists off all this stuff.
Guy in his basement pushing him up.
Yeah. Anyway, they just picked one of the threats to humanity to scare Daniel and Helen with the car being commandeered, which Daniel and Helen, of course, did not appreciate and find very unnecessary if the point was just getting them to this dinner. More on the Stinson plan. Part of the actual plan is the leaking of the silo information in a few years. They're planning for the whole world to make fun of him, call it a billionaire's folly, And we get confirmation that the dirty bomb was a lie. I think we discussed the possibility last season when the radiation scanner outside the restaurant where they had their first date, or non-date, whatever. The bouncer said they never get radiation readings. So the cloud was Iran's nano, and the mission was using Charlotte and her 3 friends as disposable bait from the get-go, hoping Iran would take over their plans and rationalize them nuking the Iran facility, which they'd already dug a hole to from Turkmenistan. Charlotte runs out of the room upset, which Anna blames on Helen for repeating the information she just learned rather than the people who handed Charlotte's life to Iran on a platter. Anna also tells them to let Victor do his thing while Anna watches from real close. So has Anna been taking advantage of Charlotte the whole time since she got back from her mission? This feels so gross. I don't know. They seem to be like very close, as in the foot rub scene was not the first thing between them.
Mm-hmm.
That was gross to me. I don't like it.
So I feel like she's been like visiting her, I guess, in her recovery and hitting on her. And I don't know. It seemed like an established kind of relationship, the way they're looking at each other and the way that she's up close with her. Whatever. It was like very gross to me. Also, Victor oddly suggests Daniel give Charlotte a memory of her parents right now, since they're currently on a farm and Charlotte and Daniel grew up on a farm. All farms are the same to this guy.
What's kind of weird that Daniel then says, "Oh, I don't have anything." And like, what do you mean you don't have anything? You got your memories.
Yeah.
But I guess he meant like give her something like a relic that would help her to remember, which he does later.
So it is odd that he thought he would have one on him. Obviously it works, but it's a strange moment in a strange scene.
Yeah. I did sort of have a little bit of like, I'm just trying to understand this Sernkovich guy, and maybe he really doesn't know as much about what's going on. Like maybe he's not, like his attempts with Charlotte could be genuine in an extremely misguided way.
I reject that. Since you can believe it, and that's fine.
Well, I don't know if I even do believe it. It's just like, I feel like I always do this. I'm always trying to like find the flip side of a character. I'm just like, is there any humanity left in you? Let's try to find it.
It's good that you do that.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
I mean, I wrote this guy off as pure evil from like the moment we met him. So I don't think that's as good as you questioning it constantly.
I mean, he had this speech, I think it was in episode 7, right? Like when he tells Daniel about how his daughter died in his arms and he wanted to erase this memory specifically. And so I do understand why you think that there's humanity left, or if there's maybe also like a little bit of a reasoning behind that. There is a chance, maybe it is very slim, who knows, but there is a chance that he does want to spare others from having to live with these kind of traumas,
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling in this scene a little bit.
I feel like the doctor is playing God with Charlotte's memories, and I don't understand why Daniel is still trusting him with it. Maybe because like he wants her to get the memories back, but still, it just seems pretty evil still to me.
That definitely does, and it definitely seems crazy that the way Daniel's acting about it. But like, I kind of had the same thought too, because I'm trying to think like, why would he still be like, I can't think of any reason for him to still be acting like this, except exactly what you just said, that he's like, well, I can't get mad at this guy now because this is sort of the only option now that this has already happened. But like, then I would want him to say something to another character, maybe like to Helen or someone that sounds like he feels that way. Do you know what I mean? And he doesn't ever complain about this to anybody.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention, which we'll cover later, but he leaves her behind there. So I'm like, you're a great brother. Whatever.
It's not great.
Hadn't thought of that.
I don't know.
Aubrey remembers the scene.
I remember it differently.
Aubrey's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was a little clouded by the time we got there.
Yeah.
Kennedy's come to Kyle for a pep talk about talking Jimmy into letting them move his mom's body. Kyle dumps it down for him. You're the guy who has to do it. Good pep talk. Kyle's still mid-death over here. And Kennedy is the bullshit guy. But Kennedy's last defense, he doesn't know where Solo is blown apart by Hope and the baby showing up. She knows where he is. Knox and Billings bring the plans Knox's dad drew them to McLean, who is shocked both to learn Knox Sr. was smart enough to draw such a thing, and that Harwood was smart enough to have it built and hidden. What is it? McLean thinks they killed Orla because they thought she was going to turn them in for stealing, but Billings points out just building whatever that was would get them sent out to clean. It's really annoyed me that McLean seems like kind of useless in her role of supply. it still drives me insane that she just, I don't know, been sitting there letting things get stolen this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a question about if they had to move something super heavy that would have required more than two people, how did Orla find the entry point?
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just saw like the track marks on the floor.
Right. We don't know that she like got on the elevator, right?
Yeah, we don't know.
He might have pushed her down the elevator shaft to kill her.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe she asked her boyfriend for help.
Right.
Thinking she could trust him.
And that's when he killed her. Yeah. That makes sense.
Maybe. Yeah.
Very sad. Hope has led Kennedy to Solo's childhood apartment and leaves him to do his best. And Kennedy's best is quite good. Bonding over the loss of a woman they loved was definitely the way to go. Also, starting with the self-deprecation of how wrong Kennedy was about the outside. Doris would have set him straight, though, he thinks. He asks Solo if there are any rituals in his silo for someone's death, and Jimmy has the most heartbreaking answer. I never knew anyone who died until everyone did. Kennedy looks appropriately stricken, but he recovers and tells them about his silo's tradition and how Doris is buried under a peach tree, and his hope is one day someone who ate that fruit will get to live outside and she'll go with them. What a softie. I love it.
This was so perfect and so sweet.
Yeah. Very well written and acted scene.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Patrick actually is really good with people. He just doesn't use the skill, you know?
Right. That's
he
true.
just resists it.
Yep. And Solo likes the idea, so Kennedy pulled it off. He throws in a do it for the kids for good measure at the end, and then they're bringing Jimmy's mother's body out, and everyone, Kyle included, is there for the huge moment. They urge Jimmy to go with the kids and his mom's body, but Solo tells Kyle he really wants to know what happened, which is understandable. So Kyle goes in to look at the evidence and figure out what happened. Jimmy's mom realized she was running out of fuel and wasn't going to be able to cap the pipe with it, so she welded herself in with the poison. It was the only other way she could think of to save the whole silo, just to sacrifice her own life. Kyle translates, Jimmy's dad gave his life to save Jimmy, and his mom gave her life to save the silo. Pretty fucking cool parents.
Yeah. Is the poison pipe smaller than you guys thought?
Yeah, it is a lot smaller.
Don't know why I wasn't envisioning it this way.
Yeah, I was expecting much bigger also.
It seems like a very slow way to fill the whole silo with poison, you know?
Yes. Also, it confused me. Why was she going to run out of fuel before she sealed that off? And the better answer was a much larger hole?
I kind of thought they were saying because she just cut into it, it was leaking out.
Mm-hmm.
So she was racing that. And
so she didn't have a plan to cap it?
I guess she did because she was capping it with that. What was she capping it with? There was like a piece of metal or something, right?
Yes.
But yeah, good point. Because if she was welding a piece of metal to the pipe, wouldn't that be faster than welding the door shut? But maybe it had already filled the room up and she didn't even want to open the door.
Yeah, pretty sure that.
And she was like getting sick and like couldn't.
Right.
But the fuel thing is a confusing line. Yeah, about running out of fuel. That's confusing.
Definitely.
Oh, I think I figured it out. So when Lucas is explaining what happened or what he thinks happened based on what he's seeing in there, he says that he thinks she was using the welding torch to burn off any of the poison as she was cutting into the pipe until she could weld the cap to the pipe. So the fuel running out was probably more about like the poison was coming out faster than she could burn it off with the torch. So like it wasn't that she was running out of fuel to weld. She was running out of fuel to burn the poison in the room with her. So she was going to pass out from it or die from it faster than she could burn it, right? That's kind of what it sounded like to me.
Okay.
So she had to weld it shut because the only option was welding it shut before she died or running out of fuel while she's trying to burn it away so that she can do the other job.
That makes sense, yeah.
I was wondering if this whole speech about like what happened to Solo's mother is a bit of a foreshadowing for someone in Silo 18, if they, because they came up with their plan and it's a bit different than this one, of course.
Yeah, it seemed like they were using what happened to change how they managed it, right, with the clamp.
Yeah, exactly. They want to clip the pipe before they destroy it, basically. So there will no gas be coming out, but still, who knows if this whole plan, if they are able to go through with it next episode or whatever, or if we see someone having to, sacrifice their life as well to make it happen.
Yeah, which would make more sense in show logic, I feel, because once you describe the plan, it's probably not going to go that way. So now that Shirley already said this is what we're doing, it's like, that's probably not going to happen because you already told us, you know? Now we're just going to watch you do the thing you told us about. it's probably going to go wrong.
Yeah. She said like, oh, we have this for triple redundancy. I was like, oh, seems like an ominous foreshadowing of it not going well.
Might need quadruple, surely.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good start that they already went to the wrong place, right?
Yeah.
All of this information has clearly been communicated to Silo 18 as Shirley leads the plan to do the same thing in a less fatal way, as you guys just covered. Triple reinforcement of the shutting off of the pipe, but the problem is they need Sandy to go in first as a supervisor and convince them the loud drilling they need to do is necessary and not rebellious. Knox, McLean, Billings, and Hank are still searching for whatever it is Harwood built that led to the stealing and to Orla Kint's death and failing. So Knox suggests finding the heaviest thing in there, and it leads them to a giant, very heavy door.
Which Knox can move, of course, because we've seen how he can move doors.
Yes.
Metal doors with no effort.
Because Knox is awesome, and we love him.
2 people? Let me show you. I can do it with 1.
Previous to that, why isn't Knox and McLean doing all the heavy lifting and Hanks and Billings are just watching?
I don't know.
I just thought it was odd. I mean, I know they're both like labor jobs, but Hank and Billings could have helped.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Juliet thinks of a very important, maybe very obvious detail they've gotten wrong in where the pipe is. Bernard confirms, and she races off to correct Shirley.
I mean, this was real smart of her. Like, my brain was starting to melt as I was listening to this. I went back and I was like, wait, what? Okay, got it. Like, it took me two rounds to figure out what she was saying. But
yeah.
Very clever.
What I was wondering, though, in this scene, like, because it starts out with Juliet boiling some water for tea, I guess, or something. And I was wondering, like, because they know not to drink water, right? Like, there's this weird scene where, like, I don't know, Walker wants to drink, and then she's like, or was it McLean? And he's like, oh, no, okay, of course, yeah, I can't do it. So I'm wondering, do they think that maybe boiling does erase some of the drug's effects? Or like, that was weird to me that she was boiling water to make a drink.
I guess it's possible that she was boiling some wine to make some sangria, mulled wine or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was noticeable, like, because of the water. You're right. That's a good point. Maybe it's soup. I don't know. It's a kettle, though, but...
You think it would be unavoidable because, I mean, you need water to cook a lot of foods, so...
Exactly.
I don't know.
It would be hard. Helen comes at Stinson now. How much is this going to cost a year? He condescends to her. Do you even know what a trillion is? It's 1,000 billion. What a dick. 100 people in each silo, 5,000 employees at $200K a year, 5,000 employees is $1 billion, so he can only pay for 1,000 years. But here's the thing, that's like a fraction of the employees and the cost that he would need to build this thing. Those are just the people living inside of it.
I think his explanation is a bit summarized and dumbed down here. Like, you know, like he's not getting into all the production costs and stuff. It's just...
Yeah, but it would cost a fortune.
Yeah, yeah. He seems like he has bottomless pockets, but also the fact that he's acting like he has bottomless pockets definitely is suspicious. Because you're like, I think that you are spending money at this faucet turned all the way on pace because you know that this isn't going to need to happen for very much longer.
Right.
Like we talked about last time with paying the farmers and saying they have generational wealth.
Yes.
Like knowing there's probably no next generation to even.
Right. And same goes for these people. If they wipe their memories, you just pay them once.
Right.
And Senator Thurman tells them that they're here because they want her to join the project.
Yeah. So I really loved Helen's logic in this scene and the way she's saying, you know, you have enough money to end homelessness, world poverty, like all kinds of big global problems that you could just end now.
Yeah.
And yet you're spending all of your money on this project that is essentially it's like, isn't that movie Minority Report about like people that haven't committed a crime yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like theoretical bad guys that you're spending all this money on.
Right.
And then I'm thinking like, okay, she's making such a good point because he has enough money to solve the world's misery, essentially. And rather than doing that, he's building something to protect against a theoretical threat that might be neutralized by him using that same money just to solve the world's misery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like he's almost creating, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy situation in a way where he's creating the problem by even not using his money in a way that would actually benefit real people right now.
But I mean, I'm not one to defend billionaires, but like he does bring up a good point that this nanotechnology, which I don't fully understand, like could be a very real threat. But yeah, I was like, okay, because I mean, like actual billionaires with their like colonized Mars, I'm like, that doesn't seem feasible. But this, I'm like, okay, if he knows that these nanotechnologies can wipe out a city like Atlanta, then maybe he does have a point of trying to keep humanity alive. But
yeah.
Well, essentially, nanotechnology can do a lot of things. It's used in medicine. It can alter your, well, even your DNA or like whatever cells are doing. It can enter your organs. I read a little on it because I was interested in what's that even? Yeah, and it can be used in so many fields. And the problem is that we still don't understand how much it affects the environment, because like it behaves different than any other particle that we already know. Like it's so small that it behaves differently, like magnetic effects, whatever we know from physics, it has the potential to behave completely differently. And that's also a threat. And that's what he means with it can change the environment. It can change how the human body functions. It can be used for good, but it can also definitely be used for bad. And the other thing is we don't see it because it's just, that small. Like, and it has long-lasting effects. We still don't know because it's a new technology as well. And I feel like it's always interesting that, well, if this will be our undoing, we still don't know. It can be any other things he mentioned. But it's always interesting that like the technology and advancements we achieved as humanity in general are linked to, well, the world's end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we cannot influence if like an asteroid crashes on Earth and erases everyone. We cannot influence that.
I don't know. Ask Armageddon.
Yes.
Ask the movie Armageddon if they can.
But like climate changes, wars, nuclear wars, these are all things we can influence. And as you just mentioned, that it's interesting that Helen kind of dips into the other way of like, wouldn't it be better if we make the life we have at this very moment for everyone who still lives here better, instead of creating a legacy, because he will be the guy who did that,
Right.
Yeah.
And even though he doesn't necessarily mentions it, he says like, this is the only way how humanity will survive. Like, even though we all die, but like the people who live there in their silos underground, they will make sure that the human race will survive. But he will also be the person who like came up with that idea, like who built it. He will be forever immortal in a way.
Unless they've forgotten him, which they have.
But
like the people in Silo 1, maybe, yeah.
It seems like he has partly altruistic like intentions, but like Yulia said, like partly egotistical, like I'm the person who saved humanity. So
I mean, I definitely think the threats he lists off are real things. I mean, there are things that you should be aware of and concerned about. But I think it's that thing where it's like, what are you saving the world for?
Yeah.
Like, are you saving the world for people to just live underground and still deal with the same problems that we have now, like cancer and Alzheimer's? Like she says, you could cure them, right? Like you have enough money that you could fix this problem.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to make things as good as you can for everyone, like it's more important to survive at all costs to him, kind of. Like even if, as we see later, Helen is just like, I don't even want to live like that. Like I'd rather just die out here with everybody than live like that. So it's a question that you can go on a loop in sort of to think about,
I also feel like he is for sure planting a lot of the problems. I'm not saying he created the nano Iran, but maybe like the gray goo. And it just doesn't seem like you could possibly put it past him to plant the bad stuff so that he could come in and rescue everyone with his silo plan. I don't know. I just get that vibe from him. And it's similar to the doctor, like wiping the memories. So now they have to replace the memories.
Right.
Like bad people.
I caused it and then now I'm fixing it. Like you're both the savior and executioner, basically.
Yes. Well said. Exactly. I just really don't like this fucking guy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I keep thinking about like real billionaires, and I'm like, I probably would rather hang out with him though than the real billionaires. Like,
at least he'd feed you well.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's just like maybe it's because it's Colin Hanks, and I love Colin Hanks.
Yeah,
right. Juliet has made it to Shirley in plenty of time, luckily. Time enough, in fact, for Juliet to notice she's pregnant. They have a friendly moment. Juliet seems genuinely happy about it being Knox's. It gets really weird for me, though, when they start talking about cutting the birth control out. That seems like an insane thing to do right now with everything going on. Juliet's missing. Juliet's memory's been wiped. Let's have a baby.
Also, the way that she talks about Knox doing it, and she's kind of like making fun of it. She's like, oh, he was like, oh, like whining about it. Like she was saying, oh, he was apologizing for cutting into me, like rolling her eyes.
And the impression was,
I was like, why are you being such a dick to him? Like, I don't like it.
No, I hated that part of the scene specifically, like a lot.
You know what this had the energy of to me?
What?
Just wondering if y'all can guess.
I'm assuming it's Handmaids.
What?
Just June and Moira talking about Nick in 607.
Oh, you're right. That is as gross as it feels. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt ick.
But this also explains the scar we saw on Shirley earlier in the season. Remember she was tucking her shirt in or something, and we saw the scar on her side?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Okay. It must be from this.
Which is also a bit cringe. I mean, like, I'm glad that they answered our how did Shirley get pregnant question, but I'm like, yeah, this is a fucked up way of going about doing it. And yeah, like you guys said, like her making fun of Knox. I'm like, well, obviously this would have been a joint decision that you guys want to have a baby together, right? So I wasn't like shipping them at all to begin with, and it just made me like them together less.
It's also such a weird timing, I think. Like, considering, I mean, Juliet has no memories, then there was the rebellion, and they haven't been together for long before the rebellion, right? They were just like kissing and whatever, and then the rebellion thing happens. And then they immediately decide to take that birth control out to have a baby in this unstable time.
So weird.
I don't really get it. Like, I mean, what?
I do feel like I've seen in several different world-ending stories where it's almost like that makes people want to go ahead and do stuff like this because they're like, well, we have to find some joy in the horrible stuff that's happening. We're running out of time, and it's kind of crazy to bring a baby into the world if you're running out of time. But, like to have that feeling of like urgency about experiencing life because of the awful things that are going on around you, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, especially it's even more crazy because the best doctor they had just blew himself up.
Yeah.
I hope they had like good nurses or whatever assistants who are able to, I don't know, tackle all those things going on now, like with pregnant women and whatever.
Yeah.
Also, how did Knox have that knowledge? That's also something like, if it's that easy to do it on your own, why are not more people doing it? I mean, obviously they probably would get punished because you have to have the permission to, go for a baby in the first place. And if you suddenly get pregnant without that permission, you'd end up in the mines, I guess. But like,
yeah, you'd have to have a baby secretly, I guess, because if you didn't get permission, how are you going to be able to keep the baby? Like you have to, so that's kind of risky too. But I guess it's just because I don't think most people know about the fake removals going on. I think Knox and Shirley just know about that because Juliet found out about it, right? I don't think it's public knowledge around the whole silo that the doctors aren't actually taking it out when you get the lottery win.
I mean, I guess like Juliet's dad told him when he was spending time down with them, when she was at Silo 17, basically. And I mean, off screen, of course, we don't see him saying that to them or telling him about this, but we can assume that they had some conversations about what he did or needed to do.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he was helping the rebellion, so.
Right.
Harwood sees something he doesn't like, which I think is an alarm going off, and heads down into the mines to find the source. It would be easy to hide things down here in the mines. And finally, we find out what it is, in fun fashion, as Harwood is cursing out whoever he thinks is coming up about the sheriff. Then he turns around and there lies said sheriff and a very smug-looking Knox and Hank ascending in the elevator too. I think it's funny that when we were discussing how she could possibly get somewhere so quickly in the silo, we didn't actually think of an elevator.
Yeah, Orla thought of it, I guess, before we did.
Right.
Or just that there was something down there, I guess. But
yeah.
Makes sense because they've talked a lot about, you're not allowed to travel quickly.
Right.
So they've been secretly working on a way to travel quickly.
Yeah.
Of course they would be. Like, be crazy to have to go up all those flights every time you wanted. Like, I would just use it just to get home.
All the time. Yeah. I would risk my life to use the elevator just to get home because too many stairs.
We don't even know how fast it is. So I think like assuming that they just built a tunnel and used, I don't know, ladders or other means was also not that far-fetched. But obviously it's hard to move items on the ladder. So yeah, it does make sense that it's an elevator.
Yeah. I was also thinking about how this is kind of a theoretical relic that Knox's dad stumbled on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To have the idea for this.
Oh yeah, that's a good call that you mentioned that word, because I thought it's very interesting that they have physical relics basically, and then the theoretical relic, like knowledge that needs to be banished to keep the people, well, in a way stupid, or because ideas are very dangerous as well to systems. Like, if you understand how things work and how to do things better than they are established.
Yeah, I've never understood because it's in the pact or whatever that they can't do anything sort of like with a pulley system or like an elevator. I'm like, what's the point? Did they just don't want like ideas spread fast?
Yeah. I kind of assumed it was to keep people more separated in their own areas.
Yeah.
So they couldn't collaborate on stuff as much.
Mm-hmm. Information can't spread.
And then I guess it makes sense too that because they weren't allowed to use microscopes either, was it? With the nano technology or whatever. Maybe that's why they can't use the microscopes.
You cannot see nanotechnology with just a microscope. It's that small. It's like 1 nanoparticle would be the size of 100,000 thickness of a hair or something like.
Oh wow!
It's really that small. We cannot even imagine that. But you are still right. They banished microscopes or like enhancement technology with lenses.
Yeah.
To a certain extent as well. Because it also gives you understanding of, Juliet's mom used it to help that bunny, right, who was sick or something, like to perform a surgery or something like that, I think. Like in season 1, because she developed such a device, and that's why the raiders came and took the bunny away and everyone. And because it's again the theoretical relic, like knowledge of performing surgeries, medicine, whatever, is dangerous because you understand how the human body works, how mechanics work, whatever. You can apply it to whatever field exists, basically. And knowledge is power. Knowledge can be dangerous.
Yeah.
On the topic of the story, Harwood told the story about the magic, right? The guy that went to the mines because he cured the magic.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if this was like Knox's dad, the story was told about, and like transferring things quickly or what. I don't know. It always just struck me as very strange, that story not being about someone specific or relevant to the story necessarily. It's interesting, the whole idea of theoretical relics, but I don't know. It seems strange.
I mean, could be because he was the one who drew that elevator in the end,
Right. And he got into the mines at some point.
Yeah.
Juliet and Shirley are also ascending via the stairs, unfortunately, when Sandy radios them unexpectedly. She is clearly talking in code, asking for someone named Ralph Melby. Juliet and Shirley look confused, and then you see Sandy is surrounded by Emerson and company up in Judicial. Anna is still trying to sell Daniel and Helen on the silo. Unlike the Core 100, they could live 30 miles out. That would be allowed. And when the time comes to tell the world about the silos, Helen would get to be the one to do it. But Helen's response... She has this feeling, even if they are right about the end of the world, she's just got this feeling that she'd rather be blown to bits by a nuke or turn to gray goo than hang out with these fuckers. She's the best. When Thurman says they could still use a good drone pilot to Charlotte, it made me think of the drones shooting Kyle and Kennedy. I hope that wasn't her actual job at any point of the silo. Charlotte says yes, though. And so now it's Daniel's turn to respond. But first, Helen wants out. Should she call an Uber or what? Stinson tells her she can keep the $1 million, and she replies, sweet, perfectly.
So good.
Takes a last drink of her water, maybe dangerous, and pieces out with a good luck Morlocks. Perfect reference to the underground people in the time machine. Great scene. Love that scene of Helen's. Daniel lets her go without following and asks for a moment with his sister.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much except just continuing to clap for all the things you just said. So good. She was
Helen mic drop.
On fire in the scene, yeah.
Amazing. Juliet is suddenly overcome with a memory of Sandy telling her about Ralph Melby and understands now why she used that name. They're being set up.
That was a weird flash, I felt like. I don't know that they've done that in the show before where they just flash to somebody thinking about something in the past.
Trying to remember if there was one, and I have no memory.
Wait, yes, they have done that with Juliet's other memories. This is her... Yes, okay. It's like whenever a memory is clicking back into place, she has these little flashes. Like she had it with Silo 17 and the blueprint too.
Yeah, with George as well, right?
Yes.
When she got the pass
right.
and remembered George.
Yeah.
So she tells Shirley to run, and Shirley runs. Juliet carries on to get arrested. Harwood is attempting a weak defense by claiming he was trying to keep the light bulbs safe. Right. He also says he knows he and Glinda didn't kill Orla, and Billings uses this to confirm that means Harwood knows who did. Next thing we see is the boyfriend being walked out in cuffs. I never bothered to learn his name. He sucked.
Mike.
Mike, really?
Mike.
Yeah, his name's Mike.
Sorry, Marigold.
That's okay.
It's probably not yours.
There's lots of Mikes in this world, and some of them are shitty.
Yeah, I love that they didn't linger on him or like have a whole, 10 minutes devoted to them going down to get him and confronting him and a conversation. It was just like, no, now he's just on the way to prison. Done.
Yeah.
Just conclusion.
Yeah.
He had bad vibes from the beginning, but now I'm wondering who gets his dog.
Oh,
yeah. True.
This is always the question.
Yeah.
He never deserved a dog.
No, he didn't.
I'm glad that he doesn't have one now.
Yeah. I really wish that shows would, and movies and any kind of media would know that you really just have to show the conclusion for the animals, like the same way that you do for the human beings. Like, I can't just not know what's happening to the animals.
I'm assuming that somebody will take him.
Yeah.
Maybe Billings takes him in.
Oh, yeah.
Be
That'd
nice.
Very nice.
Or Patrick Kennedy when he gets back.
Yeah, maybe it has a healing effect on people.
Yeah.
But I guess, because we suspected Mike was very suspicious, like the most suspicious of them all, right? When they started this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Glenda and Mike, and I think there was a third person, right, who was weird at that point. But we were all like, oh my, yeah, that boyfriend, that he's behaving weird.
Right. He was definitely the most likely candidate for the murderer.
Do you think Harwood is telling the truth about the light bulbs?
I think not. That seems way too simple. But then, why, though? Like, why is he doing it?
He's a bad guy. I don't think there's any chance he was trying to protect the light bulbs.
That seems like way too altruistic for him. Did someone already say that word?
No, good word.
But I just well, then what are they doing with them? And why are Billings and Hank just satisfied with this answer? I'm like, come on.
And where are they now? Like, did they confiscate them or?
Yeah, where are the light bulbs?
That must be the next episode or soon before the season is out, because there's no way they're just going to be like, oh, you're just saving them somewhere? Great. You can just keep doing that. We'll just go about our business. Like, they're going to be like, you got to return those. That's crazy. You can't do that. Even if they did believe it.
Yeah.
Which Billings would be kind of dumb to just accept that answer too. And I don't think that he's dumb. I don't think he'll accept that.
Yeah, they would just let him go off the hook for the moment, I guess, and then come back to the question. Yeah, because they just solved the murder at least, but it still did not really answer the bigger question why they, because he must know that they fucking need those light bulbs to survive. Because they must know that they power the farms, which are essential for their food.
Right. Maybe they'll interrogate Mike in the next episode and try to get him to answer.
I guess so, yeah, maybe.
I think this is too simple an answer, but they could just want to have them and sell them back for credits and shit. I don't think that's the case.
So that would be funny though. Like somebody comes up to McLean, oh, you know about all the light bulbs? You give me your credits and I give you one back. It's they could be reported for this, right?
What is it? Is that extortion? Is that what you call that? There's a word for that.
I think that counts as extortion, yeah.
Yeah.
Another theoretical relic.
Yes.
They're mob bosses in the silo.
Daniel found rosemary for Charlotte, and smelling it, this made me think of you, Aubrey, not because of rosemary, but you like the smelling of things, does the trick.
Yeah, that was a very good callback to Juliet doing that earlier with the relics and her doing it instinctively. She just, no one told her to do that or that would help, but she just was like,
yeah,
I think that will help me, or I know that my memory is connected to that sense. So, yeah.
In general, memory is connected the most to smells. It really triggers our memories the best. Like no visual could ever achieve what a smell could. That's proven.
I have experienced that, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Daniel tells her a story about Sunday roast that they ate every Sunday for 2 years, and Charlotte says she remembers her mom. Daniel blinks back tears as she hugs him, but the next scene is him jumping on the helicopter with Helen, who thinks he's there to talk her into staying at first, but he's not. He sees the insanity of Stinson. He'd prefer to turn to Grey Goo with Helen than be alive underground with Per Stinson and the Thurgoods. And this finally prompts Helen to kiss him. Successful non-date in the end. Aubrey, I was thinking of you the whole time. I was happy too, but I feel like they're your ship.
I was just trying to give you guys a second to talk about whatever you needed to before I come in.
Yeah, we've waited for
Take
this
it away.
for the next 15 minutes.
I really don't have that much to say about it except just, oh, yes.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah,
Finally.
it was nice. I love their exchange here too. Just like all of the way they talk to each other, but Daniel being like, Stinson's cray cray, and she says, no one says that anymore, and he's like, they do if they're really cray fucking cray. Good, very good. I also really love how I said I didn't have much to say about it, and now here I am. I also really love how he's like saying, you know, the romanticized line now, I want to turn to Grey Goo with you. And then he's just looking so casual about it and like kind of staring forward, and she's looking at him like, you're finally saying this out loud. Like, I don't know. I love when somebody tries to pass off a big announcement like that as casual. It's cute to me.
Yeah, he was very cute.
I did think it was cute that like it didn't seem like he even realized what he was saying to her, and he was just like saying like, of course I would want to, you know, turn to Grey Goo with you.
Right. Like it's just an established fact at this point. Yeah,
I liked it.
Most random innuendo I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like Grey Goo, okay, well, that's a new way to put it.
Yeah. How to say I love you, Silo style.
Yes.
The helicopter flying into the moon was also just beautiful. I loved the way that looked as it was going off in the sky.
How do you guys think the peasants up in the silo now? I'm kind of assuming they get forced into the silo and perhaps memory wiped.
I wonder if another big thing will happen and there actually will be a real threat, like an imminent threat.
Probably.
And suddenly they don't want to turn into Grey Goo with each other.
Well, maybe suddenly it's like you have skills that can help, you know, and they feel like they need to do it for mankind or whatever. I don't know. At this point, I can't really imagine them turning, so there has to be a big reason that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe for Charlotte, maybe something happens with Charlotte. They threaten her, or...
Remember they left her there?
Yes.
Hey, she made her own choice. Like
she did, and there's honestly nothing he can do if at this point. Like before when she was being treated, I was angrier, and now she's her own adult making bad decisions. But yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like her anymore. Like, she was so likable in the beginning. And then once he turned her into a shell of herself, she's not nearly as likable.
She's was that Stepford Wives? She's like a Stepford wife. No?
Yeah.
Like that kind of style of hive mind, like we said about Pluribus. Yeah.
Right.
Which does make sense because we had the same feeling about Juliet at the beginning of the season, right? Like when she had no memories and was just like, well, a shell of herself, yeah.
Yeah.
You can apply that to her as well because we saw that some of her real character came through at some point, but maybe the same will happen to Charlotte, maybe not, depending on how the doctor will treat her and how much of the drugs she still receives and what memories he wants to trigger.
Yeah.
A bit unrelated to that, though, I thought it was like kind of weird that they made Daniel like the head of the project. I mean, he was an engineer, we know that, but like the project was already going on. You know, they started drilling the holes and they had all, you know, thought out kind of until he says, well, you need this and that to make it happen more quickly or more efficiently and whatever. And I was like, is he suddenly that mastermind engineer? It was a bit weird, like to bring him in at that point of the development of the whole plan, you know?
But maybe that's exactly why, is because they know that he's gonna, like the fact that he said that about, you should just get 50 of these, you know, that's a better plan. So they know that he's able to offer that kind of expertise that has maybe been stalling them somehow before. But yeah, there could be a bigger reason or some other reason they want him that they haven't revealed yet too, I guess.
Maybe it's their way of, you know, keeping them from spilling the secrets, but they signed the NDAs, right? Before they boarded the plane. So like they're technically not allowed to spill anything that they just experienced or heard or whatever, unless they want their lives destroyed.
Right.
For some reason, it does seem a bit random because they could just get rid of them in the first place. Like they could have, as Daniel said, like they could have just made that car crash and problem solved. So there really must be assets they want for that project. The reason for that is still a little bit unclear to me.
Yeah, and I wonder if, as many sort of fucked up things as these people have been doing, as far as we know, they haven't just killed someone. So maybe that's really not their style, to just get a hitman to...
Except for
Steve?
Except for, Charlotte. Did they kill Steve?
They don't know what happened to him, right? He's just been, like, kidnapped.
Didn't they give him something like an offer or something?
They said they did. I don't believe that.
They said they did. I don't know. But they killed Charlotte's squadron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, true.
So there is some blood on their hands.
But I guess that's more of like a sacrifice in their minds for the greater good, kind of, whereas this would just be killing people.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to...
Yeah.
How do you draw
The
the line
lines
between...
blurred there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, between
Yeah.
what types of murder it is. Like, okay.
It's true.
I do kind of think that both Steve and, was his name Alameda, the father of the pilot, that they said also disappeared and went out to California to take over his brother's shop or something.
Yeah,
Remember that?
woodworking shop or something.
I'm assuming both of them got roped into the Silo project too.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like the fact that Daniel and Helen just like, not spontaneously, but sort of quickly decided to just jump on this helicopter and go off sort of reminded me of the scene where they're under the bridge and they part ways. And then later he comes back and is like, I need your help. Let's keep going on this. And there's a little bit of like, they make a quick decision and they take time to think about it. Don't know if that'll matter here, but
yeah,
just thinking that they had a history of doing that a little bit.
The Billingses are together again. It's been a while. Billings told the Kents that Orla's boyfriend killed her because she caught him stealing shit. Didn't tell them about any of the other stuff. Paul is trying to reconnect with his wife, tells Kat that he felt alone going through all of that without her, and then she cries and tells him how alone she felt hearing Kennedy and Lucas dying out there without Paul. They don't want to go out the way of the Sims, it seems.
Did you guys love Kat in this scene? I thought she was great. I always love her, but...
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I did. I loved Kat in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
She's really just grown on me. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that the episode was like the destruction of the Sims' marriage and then the Billings, they're reconciling. So it was a interesting contrast.
Yeah.
I mean, because now Kat does know that it's not nice outside, right? Like she does have this information now too, because they got the transmission from Kennedy himself, kind of. So
yeah.
I mean, I think she had been convinced by Juliet already, but certainly more convinced now that Kennedy has told her.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing we see is Juliet being arrested willingly. She even turns around to acquiesce without their asking, and then being thrown in the cell with Robert Sims. I assume there are listening devices all over, rather than that being the worst decision of all time. Still, they can attempt to whisper, as I mentioned before.
Do you know, like, because we said, like, they could just whisper things in each other's ears to, like, communicate, like, nobody would ever hear that. There's a funny game we do play in Germany here. I don't know if you do know the same. Like, it's called Silent Mail.
Yeah, we call it telephone.
Yeah.
I see.
The next person does it, and you got to see how it changes as it goes from person to person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how much information they could actually pass for that.
Right. The episode ends when Shirley runs back into Martha's and tells them they got Jules and they plan to cap the pipe anyway. Martha doesn't intend to live long enough to forget her.
Loved how it ended with that.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to the next one.
Yes.
Things are really escalating now.
I am as excited to watch the next episode of this as any of the shows we've watched recently. So
Same. Yeah.
all right, I guess that's a wrap on our discussion of Silo, Season 3, Episode 8. Come back next week for the penultimate episode discussion. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.